Hello and welcome back. First, we're going to look at the Algoma numbers and what we know. We know we now have a fifth case of COVID-19 here in Algoma. However, we now have tested 356 people, and of those 356, we're waiting for 156 test results. Hopefully, we will be able to know the results of those over the next few days, and that people are getting tested now. We'll find out their results as well. I'd like to give kudos to the Minister of Health, Christine Elliott. She has stepped up the testing to get to the point where she wanted 5,000 tests a day, and they're now getting those 5,000 tests in, which means they can test everyone, plus start working on the backlog so that they are able to get much faster results. Now, another problem we have is homeless shelters. Homeless shelters are not equipped to keep people 6 feet apart at all times. They're not equipped to be the most sanitary of places. It's hard to keep everyone clean and disinfecting their hands and washing their hands all the time and at least showering once a day. So it's become an issue. So the question is, where do we put homeless people to separate them so that they're far enough in terms of social distancing from other people? The solution has been hotels. The travel industry is basically done right now. There's no airlines, there's basically no hotels. It's basically a closed shop. So we can use hotels to put homeless people in for the time being. This would separate them and give them the social distancing that they need. Now, California was the first place to start using hotels for their homeless. The UK has now also followed suit. So they are now using hotels to shelter the homeless. And we're starting to see that here in Canada. Now, the mayor of Calgary, he said he was going to put homeless people into hotels. However, it didn't go through council because they didn't want to spend the money. Well, that's going to probably come back and bite them. However, in Ontario, we do have some cities that are using their hotels to shelter the homeless. Those are Hamilton, Barrie, Orillia, Peterborough, and Guelph. Now, some city managers are saying that they need to actually take the shelters and almost completely shut them down and then move everybody into a hotel. That way they're separated into individual rooms, and it's much easier not only to social distance, but for people to stay clean as well. Now, this is what American researchers have found about how the homeless will be affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. First, homeless people infected with COVID-19 will be twice as likely to be hospitalized as opposed to the non-homeless population. They will be 2 to 4 times as likely to require critical care, and they will be 2 to 3 times as likely to die. Reason being is, in the homeless population, there's a much higher prevalence of various medical issues, which makes you more susceptible to developing a serious case of COVID-19 and also to have more complications if you do catch it. Now, Toronto's expecting to have 800 to 1,200 homeless people testing positive for COVID-19, and they're preparing for that. However, Toronto also is only social distancing beds 2.5 feet apart in their shelters. That's not anywhere near the 6 feet of social distancing that we're supposed to have. Now, the public is being told to stay home and physically distance themselves. Well, that's easy to do if you have an apartment or a house. If you're homeless, you don't have anywhere to go to do that social distancing. Hopefully more cities across Canada will develop protocols where they are putting people into hotels and utilizing that resource so that we don't have a massive outbreak amongst our homeless population of COVID-19.